Hi, I'm Don Bodin from SampleLibraryReview.com, and I'm very excited. Today we're going to take a look at Sonokinetic's Capriccio. Now, Capriccio is a orchestral phrase-based sample library. It loads right into your Contact Library tab, and it can be used with the full and free version of Contact 5.1 or higher. Now, this is Sonokinetic's largest orchestral sample library they've created in quantity of samples. The phrases all line up with your host tempo by either using Contact's tempo synchronization or using Sonokinetic's intelligent tempo mapping. Now, the more I dug into Capriccio, the more I got excited because this is a pretty amazing phrase-based sampling tool. All of the phrases are in 4/4, but you have so much control that you can really customize the sounds and make them your own, whether you're doing something huge or if you're looking for something gentle or intimate. Now, Capriccio comes with 16 and 24-bit sets of instruments. And there's 6 main Contact instrument patches. The strings patch, which was recorded using 52-piece string ensemble. The brass instrument, which was recorded using a 12-piece brass ensemble. The woodwinds, which was recorded using a 12-piece woodwind ensemble. The percussion, which was recorded using 8 percussionists. There's also a non-phrased based instrument of multi-sampled percussion. And last but not least, there is a runs instrument, which contains runs with strings and woodwinds. There's loads of phrases for you to choose from once you load up one of the instruments. However, the RAM footprint is pretty small. With one mic position, I was running about 132 megabytes. And once I was balanced between 2 mic positions, it was up into 260 megabytes. This kind of phrase-based library can help you kickstart a composition, or it can just add and complement to a composition you're working on. Because this is a phrase-based instrument, but Sonokinetic is really pushing the limits as to how you can control and customize using the harmonic shifting to change keys or just changing one line of. I think it's important to kind of comment on phrase-based sampling. Just like with the analog versus digital battle that raged on for years, there is a divide between composers who consider themselves purists and composers who utilize phrase-based sampling in their compositions. One thing that's exciting to me is that what Sonokinetic has done with the 2D Vox choral library and Minimal, as well as Capriccio, is they've started a shift in the paradigm where you can't dismiss phrase-based sample libraries just as you wouldn't dismiss a Hollywood composer for using an orchestrator. Now, I'm sure there are composers out there that will rely on some of this technology as a crutch, but as for me, I'm really going to dig in, learn all the capabilities, understand not just the playback, but the score, take advantage of the drag to MIDI feature that they've added with Capriccio, because at the end of the day, my job as a composer is to create and deliver the best music I can for my clients. Capriccio gives me a new level of capability with that as far as creating orchestral score that sounds amazing on a budget. So I'm going to go ahead and play through some of the sounds, some of the phrases. I'm going to show you how you have control over them with volume, harmonic shift, how you can load in different ones and take a look at the score. But be sure to check out Sonokinetic's videos. They have several videos that give you all the information on how to use the instrument. So I've got the strings patch loaded up here, and I'm just gonna start here. You can see we've got banks. We've got 4 different banks, so we can do 4 phrases for each of these sections. So this is, right now, this is the high section. Let's mute right here. We'll just listen to the high section. Now we've got key switches, so we can switch from bank 1 to bank 2. So go back to bank 1. Now we'll take a look here. You can see they've got, in Sonokinetic fashion, they've got each of these phrases in a graphical representation for you to check out. If you just click on one, it loads it in. Now what's great about Capriccio is you've got the ability to just click here to see a score representation. And on top of that, you're able to just take your MIDI from this score and drag it right over to your DAW. So you could manipulate this, play it with your other string instruments. You could do all kinds of variations. This would be a really quick way to work with the instrument. So right now I've just got the top strings loaded here with this pattern. Let's see. So I've got the center, the mid and low strings muted. This is the mute button. You can see we've got, this is a mod wheel control for volume, and this is a purge. This button here, plus and minus, this turns on the harmonic shift. So what I'm going to show you is it's got a number of other settings across the bottom for each instrument. We were able to control the volume. Right here, before we go on any further, is a alternative take. So it's a similar phrase, but another take of that. We've got pan, a crossfade. Now towards the left is a quicker fade to that, and towards the right is a slower fade. So it depends on what the pattern is. You'll get a feel for what the best is. This is the offset here. Now what this will let you do is start the phrase in a different spot. That can come in handy. You can load 2 of the same phrases and get polyrhythms going by offsetting them. The mic sections, there's 4 mic positions, and you're able to choose either one or a combination of 2. If you click on this, you can get your options. So here's far and close, and the Decca is the standard, and you also have the wide. For my taste, I do like the sound of this room. I really like the sound of the orchestra in the room, and I found that it blends really nicely with my instruments. So I kind of keep a combination of the Decca and close, and I do that as well with my other instruments that I use. Tuning, now this is great because you've got an option to do 440 all the way to 443, depending on if you're blending this with live instruments. Now this is one of the most exciting things I think about Capriccio is the harmonic shift, because what this allows you to do is turn on shift, and now I'm going to be able to use these keys here to go up intervals. You can see I've got all the way through here. So, that's a little sloppy because I haven't quite got the feel for that crossfade. What's really cool is you're able to keep a constant sustain by not turning on your harmonic shift in the lower instruments. So I could get something like this going here. You can see that already opens up to tons of possibilities. So this is probably going to be a bit of a longer video, but I do want to play through just so you get an idea of what some of the samples sound like, because there's a lot of really cool stuff in here, and I don't feel you get a feel for the instrument unless I played through a lot of it. So let's go ahead and we'll just jump into a couple of these phrases for the mid strings. And the low strings. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the brass next. Now the midsection of the brass. Okay, now the low section of the brass. do. So let's go ahead and check out the woodwinds here. This is the high woodwind. Another thing I'll point out here is you'll see that it's got major and minor, so that lets you know whether the instrument actually changes with major and minor. And the low woodwinds here. Yeah, I think that the last one here, that's a great example, because if you program that in, it's going to be way too tight. You're not going to hear all the finger noises, and you're probably going to quantize it a little too much. But with that, it's got that real human feel. It sounds great. Cool, let's go ahead and check out the percussion. The pitch percussion's got a lot of really cool stuff, so let's take a listen to that. So it's kind of cool the way they got this set up with a piano, wood, and iron. You pretty much know what you're going to get. This screen is pretty hard for me to see. I don't know if it's just my monitor, but it's just so bright. All of these sound great. These real performances, programmed, make a big difference than what I would have programmed in. So I hope that is helpful here is just the non-pitch percussion. So that's some of the high stuff. Let's go ahead and change out the mid. Oops. Change out the mid instruments. Take a listen to those. That seems odd to me that there's cymbals in the mid. I guess I would have thought they were in the high, but let's take a look at the low instruments. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there. And then let's go ahead and play the percussion hits here. I'll just play through a few of these. So you get an idea of all that. You know, it all sounds really good. Now let's check out the runs. Now this is cool because I think runs are one of the easiest things I kind of throw in to compositions when I'm mocking them up, that really add a lot. And I know a lot of the string or woodwind run libraries, you know, they run probably about half as much as Capriccio. So I think for the value of Capriccio, you know, I'm probably getting a ton of use just out of the runs alone, value-wise. And that's woodwinds and strings. Let's take a listen to just some of the strings here. And just a couple of these woodwinds. And there's a second variation. So I feel Capriccio has a bit of a learning curve to really dig into it. You can just start playing some triads to get the phrases going and learn how to anticipate the beat change and get some really cool stuff. But where the great stuff comes in is you really got to dig in and learn it. So by clicking on this information, the little I, you'll see that on a lot of Sonokinetic's instruments. You get a information template so you get an idea of what does what. If you start using this regularly, you know it right away, but because I go through so many sample libraries, and this is a new tool with a new set of controls, I've had to reference this a couple times to make sure I remember where it is that I need different controls. Be sure to head over to samplelibraryreview.com and sign up on our mailing list. Look for the big red button there. We can keep you informed of news, reviews, and the latest special offers from developers.